Should WWE consider unifying the women's championships once and for all? I mean, we've got the current Raw Women's Champion in Bianca Belair, the EST of WWE. She retained her championship at WrestleMania by defeating Asuka. And then we got the brand new SmackDown Women's Champion in Rhea Ripley, who defeated Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania Saturday in the best match of the night to become SmackDown Women's Champion. And now she leads that brand's women's division. But much like what I touched upon on Monday, the women's divisions in WWE are pretty lacking nowadays. They're pretty lackluster. There's not enough challengers for both women. To the point that there are people, myself included, that are considering Trish Stratus for a championship run to take the title off of Bianca Belair on Raw. That's a theory that I favor right now because, like I said, there's nobody right now currently built up enough to defeat Bianca Belair over on Raw. But it's a little bit worse on SmackDown because, with all due respect to every single woman on that roster, other than Liv Morgan, who is the current WWE Women's Tag Team Champion, along with Raquel Rodriguez, and Ronda Rousey, who is in a tag team with Shayna Baszler, and they're about to get into a feud, into a rivalry themselves over the Women's Tag Team Championships. There is nobody on that SmackDown's women's roster that can challenge, that can be a real threat to Rhea Ripley's current title reign. Now, I know in a few weeks we're getting Backlash in Puerto Rico, which means we're going to have Zelina Vega challenge for the SmackDown Women's Championship. It's going to be Rhea Ripley versus Zelina Vega at Backlash for the title. But again, it's going to be a great match. It's going to be a great moment for Zelina Vega to be able to perform in Puerto Rico on a major stage, on a pay-per-view. But no one believes that Zelina Vega is ever going to beat Rhea Ripley. At least not in her current character. At least not the way they have currently been building her. They might get there. I don't know how they're going to do it because, like I said, the build for the women's divisions have been pretty disappointing over the past, pretty much the entire year, 2023. I think SmackDown could use the Glamazon back. Let's not forget that Rhea Ripley and Beth Phoenix have a ton of history. And, okay, trust me, the last thing I want to do is revisit the whole Judgment Day versus Edge rivalry. I do not want that back. I do not want Edge involved in that at all. But one thing we never got out of that rivalry, out of that feud over the full year, was a one-on-one singles match between Mommy, the Nightmare herself, Rhea Ripley, and the Hall of Famer, the Glamazon, Beth Phoenix. And unlike Trish Stratus beating Bianca Belair for the Raw Women's Championship, on the Raw side of things, I think Beth Phoenix needs to come back, challenge for the SmackDown Women's Championship against Rhea Ripley. She is a big enough threat. There are enough fans out there that might actually buy into the fact that she could beat Rhea Ripley, but at the end of it all, she won't and she shouldn't. But again, it's the same issue. You beat Zelina Vega. Alright, you extend the title reign. You beat Beth Phoenix. Alright, you extend the title reign. You give us something to care about Rhea Ripley. But then again, who's left? There is nobody else on the SmackDown Women's roster to challenge Rhea Ripley for that title. And then a week from now, 7, 8 days from now, 10 days from now, we've got the draft. So WWE could freshen up both divisions right then and there. Send Becky Lynch or Bayley or Asuka even over to SmackDown. Line up some fresh challengers for Rhea Ripley. Maybe that could be a case. That could be a solution right then and there. But overall, there's still a lot of work to do with the women's division. Hell, I'd send Alexa Bliss over to SmackDown. And I know she's out dealing with some personal issues. Hopefully when she comes back, a lot more healthy, hopefully. come back as a babyface, have her challenge Rhea Ripley. That's a feud, that's a rivalry that I'm willing to see. But other than that, should WWE consider unifying the championships? And they teased it on the Raw after WrestleMania when they had Bianca Belair and Rhea Ripley confront each other, and that is a money match right then and there. That's a match worthy of a SummerSlam main event. That's a match worthy of a WrestleMania Night 1 or Night 2 main event. But to go as far as to unify the championships, I'm not a big fan of that. I'm not a big fan of one singular women's world champion. Just like I'm not a fan of one singular tag team champion. Or in this case, what Roman Reigns has been doing. Like I said last year, I didn't think Roman Reigns needed both championships. It's obviously made him a bigger star, but it's held guys back like Drew McIntyre, like a Kevin Owens, like a Sami Zayn, like a Sheamus, like all these guys who could all been world champions by now. During this entire time, they can't because we've only got one world champion. So I don't want that to happen, and ultimately having two separate brands, still having a draft that requires two separate world champions, two separate champions of each division in order to be able to create and build newer stars. So just on that alone, I don't think that they should unify the championships. Because that's like putting a band-aid to the real problem, which is you haven't been able to develop characters and get wrestlers, get these superstars over enough to provide interesting challengers for your champions, which is the ultimate problem. So with that said, it all falls upon creative. It all falls upon what you're doing to make these women stand out. And that goes for the Raw Women's Championship Division, the SmackDown Women's Championship Division, the Women's Tag Team Championship Division as well. Like I said, Liv Morgan and Ronda Rousey, they're currently occupied. Raquel Rodriguez and Shayna Baszler, they could be challengers in the future too. But for now, they're in a tag team. And for me, I don't break up tag teams, or at least those two tag teams right now, because that will weaken that division to strengthen another one. So again, it's another case of taking that off, putting a band-aid there, putting the band-aid over here. No, you've got to build up these stars in a better way. Set them up for the future. Set yourself up for the future. Because right now, Bianca Belair has Io Sky as a challenger. Great match. But the bigger story right there is the dissolution, the dissolvement of Damage Control. The possibility of it. Anyway. And then on SmackDown, we got Rhea Ripley versus Zelina Vega. And it's just a matter of, well, Backlash is in Puerto Rico. Zelina Vega is Hispanic. It'll be a great moment for her to have a match one-on-one. They have a little bit of a rivalry going on with the LWO and Judgment Day. But again, Zelina Vega is not to the point where she can be SmackDown Women's Champion. So with that said, what do you think? Do you think that they should give in and unify both women's championships and just have one women's world champion in WWE? Or do you agree more with me? Which is, that's not the bigger issue. The bigger issue is they can't develop characters. They can't get characters over in their own women's division due to creative. Leave it on the comments section below. Tune in later on tonight to SmackDown, to Rampage, Friday night, gentlemen. It's wrestling. It's wrestling. So with that said, I'm Alexis Carrillo. This has been Wrestling Talk, and I'll see you next time.